Jona, it's cool to see you again. Our first kind of 2 weeks per episode of the Atomic AMA, and we've had a good amount happen these past 2 weeks. Of course, our Fiat-to-NFT feature in partnership with Bankster is now live. We've had a few new starters on the team, and yeah, it's been an exciting time.
Yeah, it really has. The Fiat-to-NFT, as you said, we've been talking about that for the last few episodes already. Getting that ready, and we're finally able to release it. It didn't go flawless. There were some little things that went wrong, but overall it's working, and we're seeing some good usage of that. So that's really cool to see. And then the other things that you mentioned, the starters, also quite exciting. Team keeps growing somehow. Even in the bear market, we just want we have so much need to expand. We don't want to stop hiring. Among the hires, or like among the announcement of hires, he's actually already been here for a month. It's Jeffrey Haas, our new Chief Revenue Officer, so the first C-level hire that we made, who will be taking on the business development and marketing and really putting our name out there and making sure that we get as many amazing projects on our platform as possible, which we're super excited about. It's already taking charge of a lot of things. So yeah, really looking quite good. And we're still hiring. So if we still have a number of positions open on our careers page, so you can of course check that out if you're watching here.
Awesome. So very exciting times for sure. And on the bank's point of view, if you do need any help or you've got any questions about how that works, we have all the links in our FAQ, but I'll also stick them in the description. You can reach out to Bankster Support and they'll be able to help you. So what have you been working on in these past 2 weeks?
So I mean, Bankster first of all, and Fiat-to-NFT. But apart from that, a lot of continued work on the features that we've already mentioned. Sort of worked on the friend system, work on the drop launch calendar that we want to have on Atomic Hub. Work on the back end. I almost don't want to say it. Work on the notification system. But I mean, that's one thing that I also keep getting comments about, and that I know is important, and that we know is important. It's very hard if you think about how could the system be abused by spammers and scammers and bad actors, and how can we prevent that? And we don't want to launch it and then find out about all of this. We want to prevent that before, when we're launching already, which I think we'll be able to do, but it's a lot of work. But we're making progress.
Yeah, we're certainly making progress, and again, no timescales. We can't give timescales, but we are certainly continuing to work on it, and we'll provide you with kind of updates of substance as and when we can. So a few questions from the Discord, mostly about the Fiat-to-NFT system, I must say. So I had a few people asking, how exactly does the system work? You know, if I purchase an NFT for, let's say, US dollars on the secondary market, does the creator get US dollars? Like, is that converted to wax? And what's the situation regarding fees and any other payments that may be part of that?
No, sure. So what is actually happening is that this system is sort of wrapping around the existing atomic market. So it doesn't change anything about how the sale actually occurs. So what's happening is a buyer goes through Bankster, makes the payment with credit card. That money goes to Bankster. Bankster converts that to wax, buys the NFT on behalf of the user, and transfers the NFT over to the user that just bought it. So the seller doesn't even know that all of this happened. The seller still receives his wax. Or their wax. Doesn't make any difference. So it wraps around the existing system. In terms of fees, we have a launch promotion for the first 2 weeks where there's actually no spread fees at all. After that, Bankster will take a couple of percent in fees, I believe. You will be able to see that. You will be able to see the underlying exchange rate. Actually, we've had these like fiat on-ramp conversations already end of 2020. Back then, the conversion rates were horrible, like 15% worse than you would get on an exchange. And back then we said, okay, we couldn't in good conscience launch something like this. Whereas now, of course, you're paying some fees for the service there, but it's low enough to where we feel like this is something that we can have on our platform with a good conscience, knowing that for a lot of users, that convenience, that ease of getting an NFT is well worth the few percent that they spend extra. And then obviously you can always buy the NFTs with Wax.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that was a very good explanation. Another question we had, Ari, the system is, at the moment, you can only purchase NFTs using the Fiat-to-NFT system that are above $10 in value. Are there any plans for us to reduce this in the future?
Reducing it will be unlikely, to be honest. The reason why this is in place is just because there are transaction fees that are charged by the credit card service providers, I guess, and those fees often have some sort of fixed component to them. And then if we wanted to sell something for $1, like in theory that works, but then the fees on top of that would be so large that it just doesn't make any economical sense. So $10 is sort of where the lowest limit where it makes economical sense to offer this. And what we might do at some point, it's not necessarily on the roadmap, but something we're considering would just be a sort of shopping cart experience where you can maybe bundle together multiple NFTs into one single purchase. And then if you have 5 NFTs worth $2 each, then you maybe can still buy them through Banxa by having them in one shopping cart. But again, that's not necessarily on the roadmap, just something we're aware might help at some point. But it creates all sorts of edge cases, like what happens if one of those 5 NFTs then gets purchased while you're still in the process? What do we do then? It gets a bit messy, and that makes it difficult and complex to implement.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to say that we're considering that solution. But I mean, as you say, it's complex, and it would take some time to explore the different options and ways it could be used in malicious manners or whatever it be for so yeah. Although it's something in mind, and we'll look to see how we can incorporate that into our roadmap. Let's say. Well, I guess what we'll end on is that we have an announcement coming soon. We don't want to say exactly what it is prior to the announcement, but it's going to be something very, very exciting. That's for sure. Do we want to give any further details than that?
I don't think so. I think that's about it. I agree with you. It will be very exciting, and I certainly hope that it will also be exciting for the people listening and watching, and for the community. We plan to announce that next week. That's all we'll say for now. We don't want to preempt the announcement, obviously. The announcement is next week, not today, but just keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on our social feeds. Make sure you're in our Discord, Twitter, Instagram, checking the Atomica blog, all that good stuff, and you'll be the first to know. There. I think that's everything. So, Jona, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you. I'll see you then.